Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sognsdal Saga series of Crusader Kings 3 here on the Lord Master channel. The North Sea Empire obviously has not really expanded much in the borders because I'm not saying there's past for a need of expansion as much as I've been focusing more on the domestic things, mainly at the capital city of Trondheim, which I'll take you to there this way. Where here it is, yes, it's called a barony because it is now a metropolis. What is a metropolis holding, to be exact? Metropolises are by far the wealthiest holding type, favoring both taxes and levies. They are usually associated with empires and are thus very rare. They could be as heavily fortified as any castle. Ancient metropolises are placed in Alexandria, Antioch, Baghdad, Constantinople, Cordoba, Roma, and Jerusalem. Although there's a few other places that are also metropolises, but that depends on who you ask, of course. But this is all part of the Cities of Wonders mod. That's what that's part of. But don't let the name metropolis fool you. It is actually a town, a populous town which houses a large number of burghers, merchants, and hard-working townsfolk. And this is what this holding provides as a basic when you turn this into a metropolis, or you play in an area which starts off as a metropolis, like these aforementioned ancient ones. But we can upgrade that to a city if we can, raise a little more money, or just go out and loot. So Trondheim, as of late, has become the northern city of the world's desire. I mean, we'll never rival the glory that is Constantinople down there, as it's held by the despotion of Enrichment. Yeah, Constantinopolis. Yeah, we'll never rival the glory of that, as its development continues to grow at a very, very large rate, and its defenses impenetrable. But look at all that loot, and when we don't know what the strength of it is, we can't send our spy master to check that. I mean, it would be good to know of what strength it has, but if they ever get themselves caught in a war, then that's where we'll come in and take all the great loot. And since development is 91, that means its lands around us got to be just as valuable. But I believe it can only happen if it would be at war against the Abbasids. Now, the Abbasid Caliphate. Now, that's the one place you don't want to mess with. Especially that they have Egypt on hold. That explains it, of why they haven't gone down there. Only Magad and Tamil Nadu are more developed than others. Delhi, however, capital of Pratihara, that one's a bit more developed. But anyways, so we'll be raiding to some other place soon. Preferably at areas where, that is the richest of all, but if they have to be preoccupied first. Which is a little hard to come by. Why not Venice? 88. It's just one little area. Now Venezia, that is also a metropolis in itself. Well, again, we're going to send a spy master to somewhere where we'll know the troop numbers, as it's like, okay, how many defenders do they have, so we can go out and raid. Now, here's another thing, and this is the most important one of why we're all here in this episode, besides the raids, is that struggle, colonization of Greenland. It has been under the subsistence phase, which, as a reminder for you people, the political and economic changes. Actually, let's start from the beginning. Following a period of growth with the settlement phase or the integration phase, the Greenland settlements have become fragile due to the long distances involved in supporting them and the difficulty in maintaining a presence in a harsh, cold land. Relations with the local natives are also increasingly tense. Political and economic changes also disrupt the flow of trade and supplies, and Greenland becomes ever more reliant on Northern Europe. The settlers must receive a boost in aid from Europe and redouble efforts to export valuable luxury goods, particularly walrus ivory, in order to reach the integration phase, or Greenland will decline into a marginalization phase, which we, together, have successfully prevented that from happening. So this is vital to get over to the integration phase, which will remind you people what that is exactly when after those 4 months passed, and then we'll end that from there. Yes, I said end of the struggle for the colonization of Greenland. Thank the gods that your stand the Sea King has lived long enough to see it happen. Take a drink. Now, and do not forget, we are also now in the early medieval era for the Norwegian culture, which current exposure is communal government, but I'm more fascinated with Scandinavian feudalism because of certain things, especially domain taxes, which is very vital. Because yes, we are making more than ever, but let me see. I plan on getting this next for the vassal tax contribution. Because we don't make as much money as we used to. Thus we rely on raiding some more, and we're just trying to do away with that kind of practice. And possibly war profiteer, and then go back to medicine focus. But do not be concerned for yourself, because if I feel that my impending death is coming, I will know. So I think for now, stick with the well focus. Get this, get that. Let me see regarding administration. If I lived up to 100, I would be an administrator. That's something I would go for. But I'm more focused on wealth these days. Not to mention, continue to improve upon the city of Trondheim, our capital. I want to be the glorious in all the world. Because I am that kind of person. Yes, he has changed his culture and faith. They no longer resemble us, but it's all fine and dandy. Especially with the things that they have over there now. So again, 1 emperor, 3 kings, 2 dukes, and a count. And dukes accounts by marriage. And don't forget myself that we have these famed pedestal items. The Dorndal, Aram, and as well as other things for the domain, particularly those two grand temples that we've built. And it should be reminded that we control 3 holy sites, which is enough to reform the faith. Well, 2 other holy sites are not yet under control. One is down there for stewardship for level devotion up, and of course over there in Gonagada, which is in Kiev, which is prowess per level devotion and supply duration, which is something that, well, who knows? Even though we're allied to them, even though they're Jewish, but they're the ones with the syncretic folk traditions. Considers unreformed faiths to be hostile. And you know, once we reform the faith, they're not going to matter. As far as I'm concerned, we be alone in the world. Except maybe towards other pagans. Yes. But now, let us wait for 4 months, as it'll become integrated, and then we'll figure out what our future will be soon afterwards. So let's get down to business then. Ah yes, the walrus hunt. Just hopefully we'll make some good money out of this if they do a good job hunting, which we'll find out later this year. Which by that time the integration phase will begin. Mysteries of the Heroic Sagas. Ah yes, off recording I decided to educate my granddaughter, because no doubt she'll be the future as well, knowing that my heir daughter, who has a few daughters herself, and she is the future of the North Sea, that should have colonized. Anyways, my granddaughter, Thordis, and her little friend Frode had taken a copy of the Heroic Sagas from the study and brought it to the playroom. Thordis tried to read it, but quickly realized that the words of Theron were best left to the Hofgoda. She seems completely content with the current inability to understand the deeper meaning of the book. Respect those words. They hold wisdom and meaning. It's better to be humble than it is to be content. Even though content is not a sin, but it's something that we would consider it as, yeah, I don't think I would want you to do that. We're counting down the days. There you go. October 30th of 1000 AD. That's when that subsist phase was started. The struggle began in 879. And... well, it's August, but anyways. So now, it is the integration phase now. Thanks to a successful settlement phase way back when, the Greenland settlements are well connected with the North Atlantic political and economic networks, thanks in part to the export of luxury goods, particularly war ivory. Meanwhile, peaceful relations with the native inhabitants also leads to expanded trade and cooperation. Greenland is thriving enough. In fact, there is also a greater interest in exploring the lands beyond. However, all good things will have to come to an end. Greenland is still small and vulnerable to societal shocks and political and economical changes elsewhere that could bring about the subsistence phase. If the shocks are disruptive enough and the settlements are unable to adapt, Greenland will instead slide into a marginalization phase, so you may want to avoid that. So here's the phase effects as a reminder for involved characters such as myself. It's cheaper, for slightly cheaper cost to hire mercenaries, while the friendly territory levy reinforcement rate goes up. For culture, They promote culture proceeds faster within the struggle region, while the opinions for different cultures goes up, while the cultural fascination, progress, and acceptance goes up a bit more. What was 33 years? Now it's 26 years, thanks to this, but that's not going to matter because of what's going to happen very, very soon. And for those involved, for the faith, interfaith marriages are available between involved characters, so that means, yes, you could marry a Christian within the struggle region of the involved characters, and as well as a little further opinion of different faiths. And other effects includes the resilience of networks increases by a random amount between -5 to 5 every year. But remember, that's only after major climate changes in the 1200s or 1300s. It hasn't happened yet, obviously. And for the effects involved, when taking the decision to organize hunting trips north, the chances of a failed hunt as well as the hunt's negative impact to Greenland's resilience is less than compared to the subsistence and marginalization phase. The cooldown time for decisions to support Greenland or Vinland reduced from 10 to 5 years. Minus for the yearly chance that outposts or colonies will fail. 20% chance success when taking the decision to organize a hunting trip north. That's success, mind you. When taking the decision to organize a hunting trip, the minimum maximum gold you earn is more than in the subsistence or marginalization phases. If you lose gold during the expedition, the amount is reduced compared to the subsistence or marginalization phase. And also a bit more prestige, a lot more holding tax, and development growth. So that's where we are now, but this is where it all comes to an end here. This decision for regional integration. Also, I don't think I've seen these before. Look at this. Before we do that, gotta have guilds or urbanization. That's high medieval. Okay, never mind that. Same thing for there. Again, that's part of the mod that relates. No, not mod. A flavor pack for the rice mod, which relates to those areas, like here and there. Same for Cambridge. These fairs here. Good thinking, Lord Master. Look up the name of the flavor pack that you're trying to speak. Yorkshire. That's part of the. It's the Yorkshire flavor pack to Scarborough Fair. So I thought that's a English, Anglo-Saxon, Christian only thing. No, it's not. It's just you gotta not be tribal. Doesn't matter what faith you are or culture, in fact. It's just you gotta have these. But that's high medieval stuff. And if you were to have this, this is for improved holding tax and development. And same thing for Scarborough, which granted a charter to Scarborough to hold a fair, which ups your lifestyle experience for diplomacy and stewardship, and a little more of the general opinion. And same thing for over there in Jorvik or York. Yeah, that's what it's part of. Again, that's part of the Yorkshire flavor pack, which relates to the, those areas there. Which you can grant the charter fairs to prominent medieval English fairs, which is not just there, but also in other areas such as Stamford, Boston, Winchester, Northampton, and Stourbridge in Cambridge, and as well as Scarborough itself. And you may have already seen the unique buildings such as the Humber Ferry and the Fosdyke in Lincoln. And if you were a Christian, you'll get a little more flavor for such things such as the flavor for St. John of Beverley, where you go on a little pilgrimage to there. Speaking of which, that new Normandy flavor pack, which is not in this playthrough because I have not updated this because it's kind of irrelevant to what we've been doing lately. They do have a couple other little flavor events, including a little mini pilgrimage someplace. And also Normandy, this part here, also has its own struggle region, a little mini struggle as well. So that's kind of interesting. But again, irrelevant to this series that we've been doing this for quite a while now, and I am looking forward to putting an end to this struggle that we've all been doing for a few centuries now. In fact, it's been 183 years since the game started. And after 31 episodes of this series, we finally put this to bed regarding this struggle. So, ending the struggle. So select one of the following ending decisions to put an end to the Colonization of Greenland. So here's a reminder for you people. This is what happens if you... This is considered as the bad ending. That only happens if you're in the marginalization phase and you feel that it has gone so below and everyone else, including you yourself, say, we can't do it anymore. We can't, we can't improve it anymore. So this is what would happen. With the decline of Greenland's forest trade and challenging climate conditions, the inhabitants of Greenland settlements are migrating back to Europe in droves. As a Cosmopolitan with much influence in North Atlantic, I can expedite this process to cut our losses while we still can. So you could say everything that you worked hard for will be stopped. But at least you get some holding taxes development because of all these people came back here. So that won't happen, but I think it would likely happen if you were playing on, if you start on the 1066 start date, and everybody who worked hard on this, especially if you're in the 1200s or 1300s. I mean, historically, this happened. Yes. Although Greenland would later be resettled in later centuries to, its own entity that we all know of today. Now, native sovereignty is the other one, in which, as the description says, we are scored as mysterious barbarian skrellings by the peoples of Europe, yet we have our own vibrant histories, cultures, and ways of life. As natives of the western seas and lands, it's time to assert our sovereignty over the cold shores of the North Atlantic. This can only occur despite the huge amount of benefits that'll give you, including this one now. You would have to be, well, I mean, I know it says Norway, but I think it's, what they're trying to say is, well, one, control a lot of the Nordic seas regions than the one we control now. And that would also have to include Scotland and Northern Ireland, Ulster in particular. Those areas to get a 75% control of. So you would basically have to be a Native American culture of any of these in order to end this and have native sovereignty. So basically it's sunset invasion, but in your way. But I believe this can only happen in either two ways. One would obviously be a ruler designer where you play as of any of those people with that cultural pillar. Or alternatively, and seems the most unlikely option, is to somehow, and I never get this during this entire time in this series, capture a Native American character, bring him to your court, and you'll keep it as a courtier, and make that person educate your heir, so to speak, into that person's culture, and then you have that plausibility of making that happen. So this never occurred with me, so this is going to be the real ending to this struggle for this story. Let me take a drink. The peoples of the North Atlantic were once petty warlords and tribes, long divided by a large cold ocean. Now they are united, more and more in culture, ideas, and trade. With Greenland settlements linking Eurasia and the Americas, The golden age of the far north is just beginning. So what used to be called Hilstein the Sea King, he will now be known as the Explorer. I will gain 1000 prestige. The negative effects from low resilience of networks are greatly reduced. All involved cultures gain 50% cultural acceptance with each other. Native American Courtiers spawn will be somewhat more common in the Nordic Seas region, which means we're going to start seeing those aforementioned Native American characters to come here. Reduces the chances of failure when sending expeditions to the west. The costs and risk of settling Vinland are greatly reduced, and if Vinland's viability is below 50, which it is, it will increase by random amounts each year until it reaches that. And you get to select one of these three modifiers permanently applied to every county of the Nordic Seas region. So, you either get this, or this, or this. But we will gain 2000 renown for this. We have all the requirements now. So on the 20th of August, 1050, this is it. For a long time, Greenland has straddled the frontier of two worlds separated by a vast ocean. There were some who wondered whether the Greenland settlements, founded so long ago by intrepid pioneers from Europe, could last in such a harsh climate. Under my leadership, the Greenland colony is no longer an impoverished corner of the world. Barely eking out an existence, has emerged as a strong, adaptable, vigorous part of North Atlantic civilization. What was once a trickle of goods entering the ports of Europe like war salary has become a flood of peoples, ideas, cultures, and trade all over the Atlantic. Now it's up to us to determine where Greenland's destiny lies next. So take your pick. And this is going to last for 50 years, so all the way till 1100 AD. I've been big on development lately, so this will be the likely option. But I like money, but you know, you can always get them by rating. And this is more supply limit, garrison size, and control growth, which I believe that's a little underwhelming to me. Because we're not exactly a defensive intensive nation. We can be. Just by using our own martial prowess, that's our best defense. So I'll say the people of the North Atlantic should develop closer ties. So, following the success of the Greenland settlements, the peoples of the North Atlantic are now closely interconnected. Regardless of their cultural and religious differences, there's a productive exchange of ideas and frequent cooperation between the peoples of Norway and Europe, all the way to the Haudenosaunee in the Americas. So this is, for the next 50 years, development growth goes up, and so is the popular opinion. So a new age dawns on the North Atlantic. So we already read the what the text says. Actually, read that again. There's some difference. It says under the leadership. Yes. Herstein is determined to expand the cultural and diplomatic ties between the peoples who dwell on both sides of the Atlantic. Could this be a new age of cooperation and peace? Only time will tell whether Herstein's approach will bring further prosperity to Greenland. Anyway, the Greenland colony is here to stay. A new age dawns on the North Atlantic. So that's it. The struggle is over. And I know some of you are thinking, well, what's the future here? As far as, you know, what it looks now. I mean, obviously it's near at the max. But the viability, well, it's going to take a long time to go up now. And I would say that they say every year the viability of Vinland is going to start going up. So maybe we should start considering, you know, doing this every once in a while. But it's going to still be every 10 years each time we do these expeditions there. But even if you do settle there, but read that again. I mean, again, we did this once and we screwed it up. And that made a huge drop of viability. So since the struggle has ended, let me find this effect. The colonization agreement has been resolved via regional integration or native sovereignty. I mean, that's one of the phases. It's one of the things you could do. But remember, if you do succeed, it'll increase. But obviously this will decrease. And if FEMs fail, all these values will decrease. It's a huge gamble, you know. So we gotta wait for the viability to start going up. So, again, the main way to raise its viability is send expeditions to Vinland, or the dynasty has an outpost, which we do not, by supporting Vinland. After the colonization of Greenland has been resolved with a good ending, then the viability will increase by random, small amounts each year until it reaches 50. So we gotta wait a couple of years, and then we'll build an outpost there, as long as nobody else beats us to it. And then, and only then, we could have this possibility, which only one dynasty can establish a Vinland colony. And also, outposts no longer have a chance of failing each year. But remember, it has to be at least 80. And also, we got to have an outpost there first. So could this be considering as the final major goal of the series, even though I consider ending the struggle as a final major goal? This is like almost a pipe dream at this point, but I believe it may be doable. We just gotta wait for the viability to go up to, say, I want to say 40, so that we have a 40% chance of succeeding, and then we can establish an outpost there, and we got to keep supporting it. Keep supporting that until the viability goes up enough to where it's 80, and we got to beat everybody else to it before they get an idea to say, hey, this colony belongs to this dynasty. No, that's got to belong to the Sognsdal. So this is by no means the final episode of the series. Oh no. We'll intend to continue a little bit longer. So, haha. Oh, and by the way, those dynasty legacies that relates to the struggle thing, it's gone now. Which, thank goodness I didn't pick any of them, because that relates to the Iberian struggle when it was originally made. And you know how I've been spending a lot as of late for our capital city. So now, the two swords, which will unlock to build a grand temple branch of the embellished city decision chain. Gain back the cost of the next religious building constructed in the embellished city in both gold and as well as piety. So that's another thing to do in the long term. Build a grand temple, which you need 750 gold for this. Oh, and also let's do a whale hunt. Just need some extra cash before I go out and do anything else. So, let's continue this series even though we did not progress very much this year. That was quick. I spent 100 gold and we made 99 of them back. What rotten luck. Anyways, take a drink. Hopefully we'll get better profits from the walrus hunt. Alright. 232! Much better. The Euskal Francois hybrid culture. Basque French. Aquitania. Obviously that means they're using the Hispano heritage. You're going for mainly Basque. It's there. So something tells me we gotta go raiding again. Now I want to know how many troops do they have down here, because we'll be raiding Loringia next. As the renown of my dynasty grows, familiarity with the glorious Sognsdal sigil spreads too. My family's emblem is now common knowledge, listed among the great royal families of the region and the highest nobility of the Nordland. As it should be. It's become famed. Yep, we're definitely raiding there. Start here from Kent, and then we'll raid all of the land there. They have no means to defend themselves properly. And as a reminder for you people, we're looking to get maritime mercantilism, which will take about 22 years to get there. So that we will make even more money with these coastal holdings that we have here. Yeah. Everybody come. I'm living healthy. Yes, living healthy. So health remains fine. No reason to change back to medicine. Because I would like to be the longest lived ruler of my dynasty's history. Start from there and work your way down. Speaking of which, of the history of Norway, who was the longest live out of all of them? Astrid was 69, Thorin was 79, Torgeir 74, and I'm 71. I think it is expected that I will live up to 80 at this rate. And that would mean my granddaughter will be... Oh, look at that. It was 9 for the Vinland's viability, but now it's up to 11. It's going to keep going up each passing year. All the more reasons why I believe we should continue this series just a little bit longer. Because I think it would be a very fitting end to the series by establishing a permanent colony in Vinland. But anyways, the wilderness is calling out to me. It's been too long since I last hunted. Out there in the plains of Trondheim, there are plenty of powerful bears. One of those would do well on my dinner table tonight. Something is missing, though. Are my hunting spears too old and dull, or is it a companion I lack? I should make sure to prepare well. Oh, I know. A new hunting dog. is what I need. As I pet the dog on her head, she happily wags her tail. What name would suit her? Something historical? Something alluding to her black fur? It is an important decision. The dog rolls over to let me pet her stomach, and I find myself distracted for a while. Oh wait, I know. I will name her Shadow because of your black fur. What a great name. I may get a potential health modifier with Walking Dog. Hey. We need our go-to Viking to raid faster. Don't worry, this place has been raided. I wonder. 3 days? 1, 2, 3. Why didn't I think of that before? Because how many days it gets to? 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically just touch and go. One, 2, 3. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that before? After all these years of playing CK3, ah, yes. That reminds me. Yes, you're all married. Now it is. Oh, these people are mad now. Or they're possibly at war with somebody. No, they're being raided by somebody else. No need to alarm yourself. Whose part is that? Oh, that's Germany. Don't disturb that. You know, this is where Aachen is. Which, by the way, Aachen is also another one of those flavor packs it has on its own. from the rice mod. It was 11, now it's 13, so it is going to keep going up, no matter what. So I hope you viewers are really thankful that I do plan on finishing this series. I never wanted to abandon that series. Goodness, there's so many places to loot. But do not forget the big prize. Additional taxes, thank you. Because I'm about to build some improvements of the capital. 1 second. We're gonna be starving very soon, but don't worry. Raid Luxembourg here, and then we will go back home. My vassal Quenberg approached me, rage in her eyes and dog in her hand, dragged along by the scruff of its neck. This reached me, that's my dear son. I found this beast among other things. What was it chewed to bits was covered in excrement. She's just a dog. Calm down, will ya? Okay, give me a sec. Oh well. To the river. Your work here is done. I'll take them home because I have the ability to make the ships travel faster. Which way is the quickest? It doesn't matter. Just head off to the coast. These are good gains, but we've done better in the past. And now, let's build a grand temple. The realm is held together by the Sognsdal arms and hidden a word. 2 swords united as one. However, Trondheim, the grandest capital, lacks a temple worthy of both's glory. So, we will have a grand temple here, which will increase the popular opinion here even more. Well, I'll be the one to build a grand temple, so everybody of this faith will respect me a little more. And I do have enough money to spend in case there's anything else they may need while we begin our construction. The Constantinople may have the Hagia Sophia. Well, we'll get one of our own. I better start considering this. Okay, remember, it's 16.2, but that's in maintenance cost, mind you, so don't spend that perk just yet. God dog it. No, not that. What just popped up? It's... Well, actually, yes. I was looking up something else. Yeah. The feudal tax is reduced to me. Another hybrid culture form. The Khazar and the Mogi. No. It didn't take long before the news of my intentions reached every echelon of the eldest. Many of the most illustrious members of its ranks lodged several complaints against my project, claiming it's their right to oversee the works. I will not budge, so I will receive a much larger reward for this. As work on the foundation progresses, laborers are starting to find remains of an older structure. This is no surprise, of course. After all, Trondheim is a city with a long and proud history, but nobody was expecting this. An entire temple built and abandoned long ago, but still in great condition. Who knows what one could find? We can always get the money by raiding no matter what. But it is, in my opinion, as a pious religious man, I say it has to be restored. So I will receive a much larger reward. 53% chance that notable materials may be salvaged and reused, or nothing. Nothing happens. It's got to be restored. Lo and behold, a set of magnificent ancient columns have been found in the ruins of the old temple. They are truly beautiful. They are sure to inspire all and those who see them. The question is, where to put them? Leave them here. Obviously, the development level of Trondheim continues to go up. So leave them here. And it did. I've encountered a commoner outside today. She was, to my puzzlement, looking very closely at the ground at the surfaces of various plants and rocks. It turned out she was looking for any sign of snails. As assistant to the local community, she was tasked with gathering some snail slime, as the mucus has various medicinal uses. Could you educate me a little about the snail slime? Now, for context. Historically, in some parts of the world, people would collect snail slime as it was believed to have healing properties in regards to the medical issues such as inflamed skin and stomach ulcers. Preliminary modern research suggests that it may indeed show promise as a treatment for repairing damaged tissue. So for the next 8 years, intrigue up a little, but monthly stewardship and intrigue lifestyle experience goes up a bit. Pay up. We're waiting for these to be finished to be reinforced. But first, the art of building is a tricky one. Any small, insignificant mistake may lead to catastrophic damage in the next years. And sometimes I wonder if the local workshops are enough to guarantee that every possibility has been pondered. The Elders has many contacts with the experience in temple building, some even outside of realm. In the lands of Zupan or Pavel of Cosmopolitan, I could use them to invite their workers to Trondheim. Hook's on me. There's this one person. And then there's the Pomeranian, who is of our faith. Even though he's a cynic. But I'll say, that area there is renowned for its artisans. So you may have that on me. So, okay. We finished reinforcing, and this is how much we make. 27.6 for now. And with with vassal tax contribution, it is now 29 a month. I am passing through the castle gardens for a morning walk when a soft breeze carries the voices of Vyacheslav and Harold to my ear. Two courtiers talk at each other in a secluded spot nearby, frequently glancing around to make sure nobody's listening. While it's hard for me to make out most of the words from a distance, it's clear the discussion relates to our Leon. If only I could get a bit closer. 72% chance that I avoid detection. I managed to get closer to them without noticing me. See you discussing his private life and some unsavory habit of his. Yipe. Thank you very much. Take a drink. Encourage development. Faster. I announced to my council the intention to host a superb tournament, complete with feasts, music, and of course a variety of prowess competitions such as archery, melee, and jousting. All of which will be featured in the upcoming Tours and Tournaments DLC coming next month. Listen to me shilling to that. I can see it in my mind's eye already, I said. The roar of the crowd, the pedantry, a most inspiring idea, my lord, responds from out of Beaumont. But this is an expensive endeavor. I'm well aware of that. I reply somewhat testily, but sure you find a way to keep some of the coin from all the visitors that will draw from near and far. Hertoge Asko Sami, because I was about to say, that is not a Norwegian name. He asks, when do you wish to hold this glorious tournament? Competitors need to be made aware, then make their way here. I'm not a friend, no doubt must assign craftsmen to prepare things, as well as assemble copious victuals. How soon could it be ready? I inquired, looking at both severely. Not before the next season, I fear, answers Beaumont, the Frenchman. Better get started now then, because, listen, I'm not a greedy person. No. I like getting money, but I just like to spend just as much. Because I'm a generous person. Just spending more and more on construction projects. So get to work. As the work draws to an end, my cunning Joachim has come to me with an offer. The distance between the Great Temple and my palace is not too large, he suggests. A tunnel leading them from one place to the other could certainly prove useful. Well, I would hate to get assassinated during the time of my life here, so wonderful idea. I'll take the piety hit. For once. So, drinking companion. I have drinking alone at time when I see my friend Yarrow Balthazar sit down across from me. I quickly make my will. We spend the rest of the night drinking together. He really knows how to have a good time. Drink up, my friend. What little stress I had is gone now. Basically the 1050s all the way to 1100 AD, I predict. Even at the time of my passing, this will be considered as the golden age of Norway and the North Sea. My granddaughter, though, has been impressed with one of the household thing over a very long time. After meeting in person, she's been repeating the warrior's words to herself. Give others their due, and you will receive your own in turn. Oh, no need to be generous. No need to be like me. But if I were you, I'd rather be patient. All things must be given in time. Diligent is also good, but the only flaw of being diligent... Oh, Beaumont just passed. It was 13 to 15. They calls you the greedy. I'm glad to see that Vinland's viability is going up and up and up. So perhaps we should return to exploring Vinland in the future. I was about to say, what goes on in the tournament? I in company Beaumont, who is now dead of old age, died on New Year's Eve. So says the Gregorian calendar. It's like, listen, come with me, Beaumont. The corpse of Beaumont comes with us. And this old wandering Sami man who, you know, does the pleasure, who does that to himself, but that's his business. Oh boy. So, I accompanied Beaumont and her Togiasko to the main site of the upcoming tournament for the final expansion. A large stand, consisting of 2 half circles, surrounds the tilting ground. Weavers are tying awnings over the wealthier seats while carpenters are furring up the ladders to the top tier. Already, the lower town is almost overflowing with spectators, and merchants come from near and far. I applaud your hard work at such a short time, my friends. Good job. Even in death, wherever he is in heaven, he's smiling down on me, increasing his opinion towards me as he, complimented me. Look, listen, in our faith, the Christians may be evil from our eyes, but hey, some of them are just better than others. Like Beaumont here. He was one of the great stewards that we had. Despite that infirmity took away from us. But and this old Sami man, yeah, he knows. So we have hosted a tournament here, which increases the trade and construction from the tournament here for the next 11 months. Inaugurating tournament. I take my seat on the highest dais on the stage, thankfully supplied with plush cushions and well stocked with food and drink. The hero walks proudly to the center of the arena, before climbing a few steps to a painted platform that will be removed once the contest begins. This day arises a great and beautiful feast held in Trondheim by its lord. Joust well and maintain your cause. Thus will ye be honored and held dear. Who jousts best shall win a chaplet of fine, good gold, forever to have and to hold. Those of foreign lands for 15 days, and safe conduct ye shall have, with no treachery. Let me take a drink, woman. I'll give you once more. Let the games begin! Queen of Gallantry. The herald continues. Now, there may be those who wield the lance, who hold a maneuver skillfully to gain love's favor. These shall have praise and fair looks. Love who wavers not shall inflame, for a queen, dressed like an angel, a damsel of a body of lightsome and fine, her secret name is now revealed. All eyes turn to me as to appoint the Queen of Gallantry, the woman whose honor for all the week's events are symbolically held. Danuta, the Lithuanian, correct? Yeah. Either be her, even though she's 47. Architectural expertise coming from her. Or my elderly niece, who is Fravatanges Taberna. Or this guest here who is comely and a poet. Oh. I'll say my noble wife Danute. Our faith may be different, and we don't tolerate too much of Lithuanians because we don't interact with each other. But I cannot deny that my wife is the Queen of Gallantry. We continue. Childish curiosity. With a goblet of wine in hand, I ease myself amidst the plush cushions of the dice, ready to enjoy the first round of jousting. My little granddaughter, Hilda, one of the twins, sits next to me and affectionately leans against my shoulder. Who's your favorite contestant? She asks. I do not know yet, I respond. I'll have to go by once at least before I choose. I like it when they wear green, comments Hilda, or the crest of bird on it. For a 6-year-old, you sure do talk a lot, but then again, you are quick, so you pick up on language fairly quickly. I mean, she knows the Old Norse language and the Finnic language, so she catches on quickly. With a gentle tug on my sleeve, Baldur gets my attention and asks, who won that round? Nobody fell. I start explaining the scoring system, but I can see that the next joust has captured her interest. The next tilt opposes two riders so well matched that a third pass forward will be required to mark a winner, until a thundering sound of hooves. Two knights race towards each other, and a sharp prod at my side distracts me as I miss the clash. I was trying to tell you I was getting hungry, but you did not hear me, whines Baldur. Well, I'm a patient man, so I take a deep breath and appreciate my bond with my granddaughter. First day of the jousting. The first day of the jousting competition is coming to a close. The field has been narrowed down to only 4 contestants. Tomorrow morning's tilts will first see Jarl Gamald of Upland, who is this man here, who is disfigured, Swedish, cancerous, frozen grave cancer, but despite this, he has greatly reduced disease symptoms, and he's an herbalist, and a blade master, and athletic. And he's killed a man before, as he is one of my fighters. That doesn't stop him from competing in the tournament. And he belongs to the legendary Sigurd family, dynasty. And we'll go up against Daga Hildarene, who is a wanderer from Trondheim. I mean, he's in Trondheim now, but just some Norwegian wanderer who is a young man himself, but he's competing here. And also, Thorir Stejana, who is my keeper of swans, who is a master hunter, berserker, and a valid warlike courtier. And he's our go-to organizer to get our troops moving faster. I'll be going up against Freystein Ostan, who is another wanderer, another young man. Again, this is just one. That chain event is from what's that mod called? It's not by VIET. It's the other one. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna hate myself for not remembering the name of that mods that I use. It is a great part of my of the mod collections that I use. Oh, Lulu's events. Yes, this is where this chain event's from. It's part of the Lulu's events mod, which goes well together with Rice, especially during peacetime. And plus, this whole jousting and the tournament and stuff, that will be in the DLC, but it's going to be a bit more interactive to me being up here, spectating of what I'm seeing. Very exciting. And now the archery contest. This morning saw the conclusion of the archery competition. Points were awarded for distance, accuracy, and consistency. A bowman visiting from abroad bested all the locals in finishing the most points. I congratulate Dorik von Sand, who is our faithful. He is a Franconian, one of the German cultures. So I congratulate him for his accomplishments. Before Danute places a laurel wreath on a winner's head. 20 silver pieces to complete the reward. Dang, why don't I invite you to court? For free. Here's your reward. How about you work for me, because your martial skill is excellent. You may not be a great fighter, but you could do well as a holy warrior on certain circumstances. The hair of the dog. My way towards the main tourney stage takes me through the temporary tent set up for the contestants and the numerous groundkeepers and officials. Though the day is not cold and we're nearer noontime than dawn, the flap of one such tent remains firmly closed. From within, I hear the unmistakable sounds of retching, followed by a long, suffering sigh. God, where did I misplace my mind last night? Laments a deep voice. I shake my hand, turning away. I bump into a young squire carrying what looks like a flagon of wine. After a quick bow, he disappears into the tent, from whence further groans escape. Looking more carefully on the design's tent, I realize that it must be Daggerhilder in there, paying for his excesses the night before. By God, you mean by Odin, man? Is that what you mean? Walk away without further ado. So he gets hung over for 2 days. So he's recovered from the excessive drinking. Speaking of which, I must drink. And now, the second day of the jousting competition has just ended. Only 2 contestants remain. Gama of Upland and Freisden. Again, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Because pronunciation may vary depending on where you're from with me. I can barely wait until tomorrow's final. So yeah, me, my wife, the Sami guy, and the dead Frenchman whose soul up in the heavens is watching down on me is all smiles. Who says we can't coexist? The melee. Trumpets sound and heralds announce the arrival of the 2 contestants for the foot melee. A grand chaotic battle, with 2 sides of the 50 tourniers each, armed with blunted swords and hammers. The tourniers arrange themselves as they would for battle, behind a strong rope, each group of 50 at the opposite end of the field. In a few minutes, officials will cut the cord, holding the teams back, and the fight will begin. At the back of each side, 1 man per team holds high the pennant of his side. I noticed that the right-hand banner bears the arms of Elfgifu, Christina daughter, of East Riding. That's where it's from. It's from East Riding, Shire of East Riding. Are these your men? I asked in surprise. Indeed they are. When the tournament was announced, I wrote to your Hintogi and asked what system I provide. We gladly agreed that we field 1 melee team. It's good practice for the men, and they are joining a few weeks on the road. Though she is a known criminal. Ah, witchcraft. That is a crime in our faith. I mean, I could prison you right now, but you may never know what they'll do, but I like to remain peaceful this time. So I just heartily thank Gifu of East Riding for it. Do you wish to sit here? I offered Antiquity. I think you will get a better view of the mad rush below. Thank you, I would. As much as I'd like the pageantry of the jousting, I find something exhilarating in the raw chaos of the melee, the close quarters, the intensity of knowing you may die if you do not strike first. I look at her with some surprise. She laughs. Do you think no woman can understand the passion of war? Well, knowing where you come from, I mean, of course she would have that kind of attitude. I mean, she does come from Lithuania, which I'm sure it has seen its fair share of wars of expansion, so it's no strange to her. So come sit closer. Perhaps 20 men of the original 100 remained in some kind of fighting form. Swords are swung with far less strength and are longer and longer pauses in combat as the tourniers catch their breath. And an official's nod heralds the sound of the end of the melee. Elfgiver of East Riding's side, still fielding a dozen men to the other 7, is declared the winner. Congratulations. Melee award. In anticipation of the upcoming jousting final, the crowd has returned to the arena, filling the stands to capacity, then some, but first I must award the melee prize. I call forward the captain of the winning side, who looks a little worse for wear from today's fight, to join me and Danude at the center of the jousting circle. Loudly I declare that I congratulate the winning side, whose tireless exertions today have earned them great glory and renown. I present you here, Captain, a purse of 100 silver pieces, 2 for each man. At this, the fighters from the winning team, still hale enough to attend, cheer rouselessly. Danuta also gestures for the captain to kneel, so she may attach the fine red cape to his cuirass. Cheers to the winner and their lord. You are wounded. Come to court. Oh, you may be a wounded man, but when you're no longer wounded, I mean, you would suit well in our retinue. Come on in. That's another reward. You serve me. And now the jousting final. At last, we come to the main event of the tournament. The last tilt of jousting, with only 2 knights remaining. At one end, I see Gamal of Upland, bedecked in his family's colors, astride a beautiful white horse, impatient to prove his mettle. At the other end, Raisnan of Osman is sitting atop a black horse, pacing with nervous energy. In a few minutes, the trumpets will sound and they will be off. Absalon, who is Icelandic Christian, he's Celtic Christian, but he's Icelandic culture. He approaches me and asks if I would like to add a little financial spice by betting against him on who will win. Well, you know what? We'll decide by coin toss. Listen carefully. Heads, Gamal, tails, Freistein. And I choose the Wanderer. Freistein Osman. I'm betting 5 gold for this. The 2 knights are off. They gallop towards each other, aiming their lance to hit their opponent on the chest, throw their helmet to knock him off his horse. The shock of their encounter is fierce. Horses and riders so fast they are almost a blur. Gamal of Upland managed to slide his lance perfectly into Freistan's shield, shattering it. Freistan's lance, in contrast, is partially parried, and only shaft rubs along Gamal's side, much of its strength lost. Having switched ends, the riders turn their mounts for a second pass. Freistan, however, wobbles a moment, then slides off his black stallion. The scar valleys run towards the wounded man with a stretcher. Gamal of Upland is the tournament's champion. Well, I lost a bet on that one. I mean, after all, he's the one that serves me. He overcame the odds. He was disfigured during the raiding period. And despite the fact that he has frozen grief because he's quite depressed, he was caught sleepwalking the other day, in which he was daydreaming about the state. Yeah, he's gone through a lot in his life, but now he is the tournament's champion. What a week! Thousands of folks descended on Trondheim and made this tournament a success that will be sung about for generations. The banquet hall is crammed full of guests from near and far. The conversation didn't drowning the minstrel's music. As I rise from my central seat and gesture to the Queen of Gallantry, the room quiets. Please come forward, Gamal of Upland, and claim your well-earned prize, declaims Danuta. Gamal makes his way from the far end of the hall and kneels before the Queen of Gallantry. You have won lasting honor for all time, for yourself and all your line. Rivals valiant and worthy, you have bested until you, alone among the courageous, still stood undefeated as one of our very own knights. You have done our Lord proud. Receive this wreath of golden leaves, so that all remember your deeds. After the elaborate headpiece is placed on the brow, Gamal rises and awkwardly claps his hands with the crowd applauds and cheers. Once the clamor has subsided, I thank the assembled dignitaries for the clap band signaling for the endless trays of food to arrive. Ensure every guest leaves feeling appreciated. Again, he never processed the death of a loved one. Look at the memories of this character. Look what he's gone through in life. He was born 996 when he was 1 years old. Grandmother drank herself to death. Made friends along the way. Got married to, the first wife, who has... I mean, this is correct. Yeah. And so why they divorced? That doesn't say. Married another, and then married another. Drank self death, died asleep. Wife was executed by who? Maurice of Savoy. And this is the current one that's married. Imprisoned by the Sami. Oh, that's what's going on. Borders of the Sami realm. They have a bit of eternal conflict with one another. At that time. And in 1042, he became the ruler of Uppland. Which rules Uppland and Södermanland. Still rivals to this day, and in recent years he's won some wars. Also, so clearly he's got some grudges to hold, and he's still got friends. And during those wars, that's how he became disfigured. And he has cancer, but he's been very well treated. It's frozen grief. So again, give credit where credit's due. Gamal Kristudsen is by far the most courageous man ever met. He overcame the odds to win this tournament because he's gone through a lot in life. He's 56 now. Take a drink. The main part of the meal is done. Half the tables and trestles are hurriedly taken out of the great hall to make room for dancing. Minstrels who have been playing quietly from the gallery above relocate closer to the guests as the music takes center stage, freed from the formal seating by rank and station. Guests started gravitating towards those who share their age and interests. Near a small table by a fire stand, Beaumont, the dead Frenchman, and Hertogi, the Sami wanderer, engaged in conversation with Ulrich von Sehen, who is going to be coming to courts. The archery competition winner, he is, involving a lot of gesturing with imaginary bows aimed at the hanging chandeliers. Along one wall sit some of the injured men from the melee, with some slings around their shoulders, others with a sore leg on a stool. I'm heartened to see the jovial fellow when the opposing team bring a pitcher of ale for those two able to fetch it themselves. There is a certain military camaraderie that transcends borders. Turning back towards the light and the music, I see several couples set up a spirited rondo. Mayhap a year from this day we shall be at war, but for tonight at least the rest of spirit unifies us, whether Norwegian or outsider. On the edge of the dance floor, Gamal of Uppland is holding an informal court of his own, regaling his rapt audience with advice on how to become the next jousting champion, should anyone have the courage to challenge his title. I observed that my granddaughter, Walthilda, is one of those swept away by the tantalizing promise of fame and renown. I chuckle at the fact that even jousting champion might have no defense against the interruptions of an inquisitive child. Well, she's more charming than inquisitive. All is well tonight. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this tournament chain event, as I brought these two here. Yeah. Whew! That was a long week. And finally, after this entire time, the grand temple is finished. As I walk into the monumental structure, I am overcome with joy and pride. Solomon, I have outdone thee! 1,000 piety! development level up to 4. Now the development's 35. How do you like me now? One would think. But remember the next big thing to spend? Let's turn this to a city, which will take 2 years' time to do so. Especially this will improve the development growth even more, and the levies and the taxes it will provide. Although we'll be stopped short there of making this into a great city. Something tells me we gotta go raiding again. But let's do some reconnaissance first. Where to raid next? Has it been a while since we raid Cordoba? They're in the middle of a war. Yep, time is ripe. To Cornwall. Squires to think. It's my court musician. My court musician approaches me, practically skipping along to the rhythm only he can hear. I crumble your attention, my lord. I have prepared an all-male choir beyond compare. According to my new method, they not only swing, but wear tights, don ornate codpieces atop their glimmering loins, dance in a synchronized fashion, all amidst praising Odin, of course. I'm certain that if you fund this grand performance, it will most please the ladies of the court. What on earth? What is the matter with you? You deviant. I ought to imprison that man. You know deviancy is criminal in our faith. My gorge rises. Throw this deviant in the dungeon. And it's a pious thing to do. His first child, I believe. Yes. Grima. I'll take you there fast. We'll be arriving there in 3 months. At least our Andalus is busy. Similar number of men. Okay. No feasts. Money's better spent elsewhere. Oh, excuse me. Oh, hell. I think I know what they're gonna do. Also, all the more reasons why we must have more money. We've got to start repairing those artifacts that I like to use. Ooh. Uh-huh. For once, I'm willing to spend that money. Wants to go to Eastern Europe. It's been a while since we've seen one of these. We hold the hills here. I don't know about you. Holy warrior, flexible leader, unyielding defender. Need your help. I'll do my best here. Just do not forget, I'm a strategist. I'll inflict more casualties for them. Hold your ground, everybody. Killed one of them. As the battle rages on, I find myself in the midst of small pocket close quarters combat. With the help of my men, we smashed the opposition with ease. But the focus of the attention was on me, who managed to put on a particularly impressive display whilst fighting unrelated enemies. So take a second to catch my breath after the attack. I noticed some of my soldiers watching on with admiration to my impressive fighting display. You're not entertained? I want to possess something truly unique. Find something. Capitated. My granddaughter Therma seems to be having a difficult time in our latest feast. She buried her face in food, and the only talk she did was serving, asking for serving at the table. Gluttonous ain't good in my opinion, because it affects stewardship. Shy is a good eater, but gives you a bit of learning. Either of which affects your attraction opinion. So it is duty to be seen, whether you want to or not. Back to raiding. Disapproving envoy. Kake, an official serving Uni. He's from Finland. Was sent by his age to visit my court as part of diplomatic formalities. After I graciously accepted this man to my court, well, we were discussing various matters. He had the nerve to suggest that my court was not up to par. What slander! In particular, Kage says, I would have expected a court of a great size to be grandeur, but this is a rather small and dimly lit room. Decorations are banal and dreary. And stairs in that other room? Everyone knows a good court needs excellent majestic stairs. He sighs, continues by, look, to be frank, this royal court isn't that different from the court of a mere duke or petty chief. Where's the grandeur, all-inspiring majesty? Well, he is tactless, so it might not hurt to spruce things up. Why not? I've thought about improving the court grandeur for some time, but, of course, all that requires more money. More money means more time. The adventurer mod sends word to somebody exclaims, holding out the letter. For 10 days and nights, me and my party has been hiding. The bandit Lord Marek This set the blockade on the road must travel. We advise caution, or should we fight them, trusting God to keep us safe? Contract reads. No guts, no glory. Make them pay for wasting my time. Successfully drove off the bandits. Up you go. As I open my eyes in the dark, I'm immediately overwhelmed by an ominous feeling. Is someone watching me? Are you ready to embrace the truth of this thing? I set up suddenly completely, looking around for the source of unfamiliar man's voice. The only chance. Freya offers you her blessing. Will you accept it? No, no witchcraft. I want nothing to do with this. Be gone, demon. Witchcraft is criminal. And plus I'm a man of faith. One sec. Up you go. War profiteer. Monthly income while at war. That's just in case if we are attacked during our golden age. Keep going. We're just gonna cut through there, then we'll work our way up. Oh hell. A dramatic scene unfolds in my audience chamber. A vassal, Orlando Elizabeth, accuses Paula, the son and heir of the son of Ada. These are all Sami names, that's why they sound so strange to me. Him who dignity claims there's no proof of his son's guilt. Even if it was him, surely it is fault for being a loose woman. I already seen I must do something before it gets out of hand. There's a couple. Those lives with nothing. This is for the monthly stewardship. Oh hell. Is that them again? My god, it is them. It's their territory. We're still gathering 9 days. We'll be there in 15 days if we go up there. I mean, we could catch up with the gathering army like that, but I don't think it'll do. In fact, hold your ground. They're gonna come down here. Things are happening again. This time we're taking more casualties, but they have the advantage. Oh no. They got us. They got us. Get out of here. We were fighting on their turf. We may have killed one of their knights, but all the loot that we worked for, nothing. They're gonna get it all back. Get rid of that Warhammer. But nevertheless, the Vinland's viability will keep going up. So now we're vulnerable to foreign attack. Get the reinforcement rate up, if we can, and try to get back home quickly as you can before they take advantage of this. So we were being too greedy. And this one wants to go to Northern Europe, which is here, obviously. So we got 2 adventurers now. Me and my counselors are gathering for the meeting. My dog shout approaching with begging eyes and a drooping tail. She does not like to be left alone, but this is an important meeting. She'll join me. Well, here it is. Now, I'm sorry, sir. I guess I'm in the and I'm to describe what you just heard. Shauga's got a gal, and that's my wife. Oh, that's my wife. We're talking here. Well, one's already going to get a very unique artifact, but as for you, I trust your instincts to bring me something great. I don't care at this point. So we gotta get our levy reinforcement rate up faster before somebody's gonna take advantage of this situation. So on that little disappointing end here, yeah, that was a little disappointing. I guess I got too greedy on that one. Should have stuck with Rome. Or by some off chance, I don't know about beeswax. Well, she has high intrigue, so that's plausible. We blackmail. I don't want to have that branded to be as a murderer, so you got me. I'd rather keep my conduct clean. Clean conduct, my eye. You're not phrasing it correctly. What you're trying to say is you want to keep your reputation clean. That's what you mean by it. 75 and I'm doing fine. Well, turning 76 this year. So let's just get our levies restored quickly before we even think about raiding elsewhere. This meeting is boring. I shake around the seat. This is not good. I'm struggling to focus what my vanguard is saying at the regular council meeting. Why am I struggling so much to stay awake? Did I not sleep well last night? Wasn't my meal too heavy? Why am I here? I jolt awake again and I'm falling asleep. No, I must stay awake. I must. Stay awake, dangnabbit. I don't know why I said that, but still. We'll end this episode at the end of this year of 1055, and we'll start the next episode on 1056. Each passing year, the Vinland's viability will keep going up, thus increasing the possibility. I mean, look, it's 22 now, but it's 19% chance, so it's got to keep going up. What we did back then was just dumb luck. And also, you got to start thinking about the future. I mean, who's the heir to what titles? Idil, Dadi, Dotty. Dotty. We gotta deal with that. Maybe perhaps after I get this next one, after the 9 months. Like I should probably go for detailed ledgers simply for the sake of it. Maybe I should switch to intrigue over skullduggery. Start fabricating hooks to go after the electors. And to make sure that all the titles goes to my daughter, who is 44 now, and is about to have a child. Is going to have the child in the next episode. If it's the son, if she's got a son, this changes everything. I'm now 76, and I'm still doing fine. Summer of Suns. Dear companion has lost his fight. We scream and we wail, no matter our might. Without him, we are all but hollow shells. Each of us a little corpse, a hollow, a parallel. That is truly heartfelt. Ever since we got too greedy with the raid on that last one. And we will end this episode right now. So there you have it. The Greenland struggle has ended. We held a grand tournament of sorts, but it's not quite going to be like the tournaments that will be featured in the DLC coming next month. And other things happened. But most importantly, actually just one sec. Okay, now, because I just wanted to skip one more day just to see the Greenland status. It's 25 viability now, compared to start off with 9 at the end of the struggle. This kind of percentage gives you 22% chance. So remember, it can only go up as high as 50. That's where it's going to keep going. Once it gets up to there, then I will attempt to build an outpost in Vinland, which may happen in an episode or two at some point. And maybe, just maybe, after we establish this outpost of Vinland, we can try to support this. Which each time you do that, this is going to hurt its resilience and networks for Greenland. And maybe, just maybe, we can establish a permanent colony of Vinland, which its viability has to get up to 80 to make it happen. And as long as our dynasty is the one to do it. And that would be considered as the final major goal of this series, that I would consider it as the true ending of that series. For that very reason. So, we hope you people have enjoyed this episode, because I believe, in my personal opinion, this is going to be the last few episodes of this series before I finally put this to bed. And look forward to the next DLC and a possible new Crusader Kings 3 series, wherever it may be in. But nevertheless, I look forward to continuing this series for just a little while longer for that aforementioned reasons. So, we'll see you in the next episode. But until then, so long for now.